Hi there, this is Cody from HMS Motorsport. It's a shame that we can't be with you today, but we definitely didn't want to miss an opportunity to talk to you about motorsport safety. For those of you who don't know, we are a motorsport safety company, so that means we handle a lot of the safety-related stuff that you'll need to go racing. Everything from seats, racing harnesses, suits, shoes, gloves, fire suppression, racing radios, in terms of communication. We really do it all. And HMS Motorsport, the employees here, the owner of the company, we've been longtime BMW fans, longtime BMW members, and we've always worked really closely with this club. So we are really happy to be here talking to you today. Usually I give some really corny thing on the ground school days saying how we are so excited about the upcoming driving season and how, this event really is the mark or the start to our driving season. For those of us that have been headed away for the winter, we get to start thinking about the fun stuff we get to do with our cars. This year it is a bit different, where there is a little bit of uncertainty with what is going to happen with the upcoming driving events. But the good news is that the safety recommendations and the advice that we would give you today really doesn't change. It's going to apply to you today or a month from now. So what we're going to try to do today is just give you a very quick overview on the basic safety equipment that you're going to come across in the first couple of years of driving, basic stuff you need to know, and really where you might want to take it down the road. So to start, we usually go into helmets. That is typically kind of one of the bare essentials you'll need to get on track, and it's something we get the most amount of questions on. With automotive helmets, I think the easiest way to think about it is breaking them up with what certification they meet and what style helmet they are. To start, helmets are currently in the US, we use a Snell automotive rating, SA. The current rating is going to be an SA 2015. So that Snell automotive rating, it came out in 2015, and it is good for 10 years. So anytime a rating comes out, it has a 10-year life. So Snell 2015 helmets are going to expire at the end of 2025. Now we get a lot of questions of, what happens if I buy a Snell 2015 helmet today? That helmet would still be expiring in 2025. It doesn't give you an additional 10 years from the manufacturer date. The new Snell standard, the Snell 2020 standard, is going to be coming out later this year. We still don't know a lot about the launch. It is, I think, projected to be October of this year, but we don't know, what helmets are coming out and really what the rollout will look like. We get a lot of questions of, what should I do? I'd love to wait and get a helmet that is a 2020 to get that full life, but I want to do a driving event now. I really don't want to wait. And for those folks, I usually suggest picking up a helmet now, a 2015, and just getting something, more budget friendly. The reality is that, if you are into this sport, if you do find out that you are really going to like it, then in 5 years, you're definitely going to want a new helmet. You will have used up a lot of the life of it. And just through normal sweating and wear and tear, 5 years is a good amount of time to be with the same helmet. And if this is a sport that you really you find that you're not going to get into, then it really doesn't matter if it's a 2015 or a 2020. You probably won't use the helmet that much after this. Now, the good news is that I think for most of us out there, our first time on track, we totally fall in love. So you should get good use out of really whatever helmet you do go with. And we're happy to kind of have that discussion with you of what option might work best. The only other thing to really know about helmets aside from the Snell rating is going to be just the style. There are really two main styles that you'll come across. There's going to be a full face helmet and then an open face helmet. Open face, as the name implies, that is the style helmet where basically you'll see the helmet around the top of the head, the sides, but that is not going to have anything over the front. The face will be exposed. These helmets are great for autocross because they're a little bit cooler, a little bit easier to get on and off. That being said, we typically do recommend a full face helmet. That would be a helmet that does have the full top, side, and protection over the front part of your face. It will have the traditional visor framing your eyes, typically with a flip-up visor. There is some added protection with that style helmet, and if you don't have a helmet now and you're not used to anything else, it's kind of, we recommend just starting out with the full face. That way you get used to it right off the bat. I mean, it is the style that most racers are using, and so you're not going to find it really hard to adjust to it. And that way you don't have to then transition down the road from an open face helmet to a full face, and suddenly be feeling like you are a lot more enclosed in there. Moving on, helmet sizing is a big thing to focus on. It is very important that your helmet does fit tight and snug without causing you pain. You know, a loose helmet is definitely creates kind of a risky situation. So talking about helmet fitment quickly, we kind of break it down into different three main parts, really, you know, the very top of your head, the crown, and then your cheeks. You know, starting with the top of your head, we want to make sure that the helmet is nice and flush on the top, that there isn't any extra space hanging out on top. That's usually not the case. The helmet usually will always come right down, but it is something you do want to just pay attention to. The next thing we look at is how does the helmet fit around, you know, the crown of your head. We want a nice snug fitment. You do want to look out for pressure points. So if your forehead is really loading up, you know, one area more than others, then that is going to create a headache for you down the road. So you do want to try and look out for that. You want it to be like nice and snug around the top of your head. And the final thing we are going to look for in helmet fitment is really good cheek contact. So we want your cheeks to feel like, you know, you're almost going to be like have a woodchuck face or something like that. That's a really good indication that it's a nice snug fit. So if you throw on a helmet and you can move the helmet around and your head is not moving with it, it's going to be too loose. And if you, on the flip side, if you're putting on your helmet and within like 30 seconds you're saying, I've got a crazy headache, like I got to get this thing off of me, you're going to hate that helmet on track. It's going to be way too tight. So as I said, the goal is to find something that is snug, but that is still comfortable. You know, my helmet now I think is about 6 years old, so it's getting up there. And even when I put it on now, I think to myself, wow, this thing is tight. You know, my face is like smashed in there, but it's really comfortable. I have zero pain, and that's what we're looking for. Moving on from helmets, you know, there is really not a lot of other safety gear that you're going to come in contact with for the first part, you know, the first year or so of driving. The next thing that folks usually start to think about are going to be gloves and shoes. Gloves are really nice. They do add extra grip for the wheel. They also are a great way to deal with sweaty palms. And that's usually who I would recommend gloves to right off the bat. So for me, I did not use gloves my first, I think, year of driving. My hands don't really sweat a lot, and so it wasn't something super necessary for me. I have other customers who tell me their hands sweat anytime they get in the car. And so for those folks that do have sweaty hands or just really want to maximize their grip, that is where gloves can be really useful. Also, they are great for giving point buys, for flagging out of your car. If you've got a really bright colored glove, it is a great way to just make your hands stand out. For me, shoes were the next thing that I did get after starting this whole driving thing, or getting into high performance driving, I should say. With shoes, you know, again, you don't need to get a new pair of driving shoes before your first event or anything like that. Really what I say is just make sure you have a pair of shoes that you are comfortable with, something that you feel good navigating the pedals, that they don't get caught up or anything. You know, you do want to look at the style shoe in general. A dress shoe that has, you know, where there's like a lot of overhang on the left or right side, where it really sticks out. That's the type of shoe you want to avoid, something that can get caught on pedals. You know, for me, when I started out after my first event, I really didn't feel like I had great shoes to begin with. I was driving with some sneakers, and I just didn't have great pedal control. And I noticed that even after my first event. I don't know that I necessarily related it to the shoes, but I just was thinking that I didn't have a great sense of what my feet were, how they were connecting with the pedals. So for me, driving shoes were something that I added pretty quickly, and that did, you know, really increase the feedback. But if you have a pair of shoes that you like now, you know, there's no shame in giving that a whirl and seeing how they go, as long as they are closed-toe shoes. So beyond kind of that basic safety stuff, you know, the really only other thing I think that is worth mentioning today is that, you know, down the road there are some great modifications that you can make to your car, some great safety equipment you can add to your setup to really increase the safety level. As I mentioned earlier, we do sell seats, harnesses, and something called a frontal head restraint. That's a device, you know, formerly referred to as a HOND, basically a device to help your head and neck from overextending in an accident. So for you, I wouldn't worry too much about that type of safety equipment at the moment. The cool thing is that for BMWs, there are some really awesome harness options. Schroth Racing, which is the premier harness company in the world, they have developed some really cool 4-point harnesses that are designed for E36s, E46s, and E90 chassis, as well as some other ones thrown in there. And they are 4-point belts that can basically, the initial installation takes about 30 minutes, very minimally invasive, no permanent modifications to the car. Once you do the initial install, these are 4-point harnesses that can click in and out of your car in a matter of about 30 seconds of harness. So that's a really cool way to increase the safety setup in your car without totally building a track car. They are designed to work with stock seats. They do not require a harness bar or roll bar or anything like that. So it's a great way to increase the level of safety without making a huge commitment to your setup. That being said, if you get bit by the track bug, there are some really great ways that you can prep your car by adding a fixed back seat, which is going to be one of those like one-piece seats you see, and adding harnesses and a cage and all that stuff. You can really build your own little race car. And we're here to help you out with all of that. HMS, we pride ourselves on not just being a safety company that sells products, but that a company where we use all the products ourselves. We are all drivers here, and beyond that, we are enthusiasts. This is what we love, and we are so happy to help you with your setup. We do it every day. So please contact us with your questions. We would love to help educate you on what safety equipment you should have on your radar. If you are building a car, or you'd like to even know what it takes to take a street car and add all of the safety stuff, please contact us. We absolutely love chatting about it, and that's what we're here to do. We are a safety resource. In Danvers, we do have an awesome retail store to run by myself and my coworker Brady. We are more than happy to show you helmets, suits, gloves, everything in our showroom. The great thing is that you can try everything on. You don't need to guess with sizes and have it shipped to your house, have it be wrong. You can come right in and we can figure it out right from the get-go. We do have our headquarters in North Carolina, where we do handle a lot of the professional belts, and we have access to some really cool stuff down there as well. So thank you so much for including us in this presentation. Hello to everyone at BMW CCA. We hope to see you very soon out there in the driving world. And if you'd like to come in contact with us, you can reach us at 978-774-1615, or of course at our website, hmsmotorsport.com. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.